Hello, my name is Ashley Felde, and I am submitting this video for the Willy Fund scholarship. So today I have decided to do a book review on one of my favorite books. It is called City of Bones by Clarissa Clare. You can see my copy is kind of worn, torn up over here. It's because I've read the book and reread it so many times. It's that great of a book. So let's begin. To any good book, the introduction is key. The author has to be able to really suck the readers in at the very beginning, or they'll be like, just another book, okay. So it really caught my attention, which is the title of the first chapter, Pandemonium. It's a different word you don't hear very much, so you gotta wonder, what is this about? What's this pandemonium about? So you begin reading, and the imagery is what catches me. Inside, the club was full of dry ice smoke. Colored lights played over the dance floor, turning it into a multicolored fairyland of blues, acid greens, hot pinks, and golds. So already the author is just making an image for the reader. You can just picture it. It's a nightclub. It's very chaotic and busy. The music is just pumping. The strobe lights are flashing in your eyes. And you're just like, wow, okay, I feel like I'm in the book. So you begin to reading more, and there's like this little bit of mystery that kind of pops up. The main character, Clary, she sees these two boys. They're tall, wearing black clothing, and they're following another boy. Like, okay, let's see why are you following another boy? And she's going on, she's keep watching them, and you see the blonde one reaches into his jacket and drew out something long, sharp, and flashed under the strobe lights, a knife. So at that point, I was just completely drawn into the book. I was like, wow, okay. I mean, automatically, you just see the action at the very beginning. It's just like, whoa. And, oh my goodness, you can go on. There's actually a fight scene in it. They fell to the ground, rolling together, the blue-haired boy tearing at Jason with hands that glinted as if tipped with metal. Clary backed up, wanting to run, but her feet caught on a loop of wire as she went down, knocking the breath out of her chest. She could hear Isabel shrieking. Rolling over, Clary saw the blue-haired boy sitting on Jace's chest, blood glittering from the tips of his razor claws. You're just like, whoa, whoa, whoa. So we have action. We have a big, huge fight scene. This boy, first with a knife, is now battling some type of demon. And at that point, I was definitely like, the action, just wow. It's very heart-pounding. It's definitely, oh goodness. So of course, you can see the book has action in it. But also another key element that I love is the romantic side of it too. Of course, every book that I read has to have romantic, because I'm just a sucker for some romance. So you can just see here. I mean, it's wound-worthy romance. It's really cute. He reached over and pulled these sparkling pins out of her hair so that it fell in warm and heavy curls down her neck. The sensation of hair tickling her back skin was unfamiliar and oddly pleasant. Much better, he said, and she thought this time that maybe his voice is a little uneven, and you're just like, oh, I love books. You can just see that slow romance, slowly falling in love. It's really adorable. But right here, you have that underlying meaning. Jace, he's a cute character. He's very sarcastic though, but he has a very hard background. You can actually see it in a bedtime story that he tells Clary. It's about a falcon. This little boy, his father bought him a hunting falcon, and he wants to teach the boy to train the falcon. In the very beginning, you can just see that the boy doesn't like the falcon at all. It states when the falcon did not like the boy, and the boy did not like it. But the boy tried because his father told him to make the falcon obey, and he wanted to please his father. So you can have that pleasing father, and it can relate to. And so he stayed with the falcon constantly. He stroked its wings, willing it to trust him. He fed it from its hand, and you can just see it, like that slow connection in the story. He began to see the falcon was beautiful. So this boy in the story, he's making a real connection to this falcon. And so when he went to his father to show him what he has done, expecting him to be proud, instead his father took the bird, now tamed and trusting, in his hands and broke its neck. I told you to make it obedient. Instead, you taught it to love. Falcons are not meant to be loving pets. They are fierce, wild, savage, and cruel. So, like, all of a sudden, this big turn in it. Like, this is Jace telling the story. You can see he kind of has a dark side to him to come out of this type of story. And Claire is completely taken aback. It's an awful story, she says. But still, she's able to fall asleep to the rhythmic voice of Jace's in this telling the story. So right when she's about to fall asleep, she remembers something that he told her a few days ago about his father. He gave me anything I wanted: horses, weapons, books, even a hunting falcon. So right there, you made the connection. Jay's actually told a story was actually part of his childhood. He had this very abusive father. You just begin to wonder, I mean, what does that have effects on him now? I mean, he had a very rough childhood, but now he doesn't know his father. I mean, he abandoned him. So you can almost see like that mystery and suspense starting to build. It's just like, whoa, my goodness. And of course, another element that all books must have are those real good laugh out loud moments, which is absolutely great. And Jace, he's a very sarcastic person. He always tries to brush off life and act all cool. And so right here you can see it's about 5 in the morning. Claire's woken up by Jace, 5 in the morning. She's like, you better have a good reason for waking me up. And he says, why? Were you having a good dream? She's like, I can't really remember. And she asks him, why'd you wake me up? It's honestly, goodness. And he says, one of these silent brothers is here to see you. Hodge sent me to wake you up. Actually, he offered to wake you up himself since it is 5 a.m. I figured you'd be less cranky if if you had something nice to look at. And he's like, meaning you? Of course. So you can see he's a very cocky character. He thinks he's just great. Something nice to look at. He's meeting himself. He's just so darn good looking. Another part here is, okay, this is the beginning of a new chapter, actually. In the previous chapter, there's this really heart-pounding realization Clary has. The author begins this with, Jace leaned forward and banged his head against the door. Turn left! Left, I said! Take the Brooklyn way, you brain-dead moron! The taxi driver responded by jerking the wheel so hard to the left that Clary was thrown against Jace. You can just see he's a very abrupt guy, and it's fun. I mean, after this huge heart-pound moment, to have one of those just yelling loud moments. I mean, you just gotta stop and kind of laugh and just realize, I mean, that is just Jace for you right there. So you can see the book has very good context to it, and it's a great story. The plot line, the character development of Jace mainly, from this kind of cool, rough-off, sarcastic guy to really having feelings for Clary, the main character. You can see like the change and difference he takes. But of course, I mean, what's a good story without the good writing, which really makes me amazed of Clarissa Clare. She's able just to bring the characters in. Her imagery is amazing. Got the similes and metaphors and everything to it. It just, the imagery is just really great. He arched his back and meowed. Jace crinked his nose. You can just picture it. I mean, also, vocabulary is another key to a very good book, and Clarissa Clare nailed that. Just some of the words she uses, it helps picturing it. You can see words like whirled, clattered, swift, gurgling, twisting. It really brings great books to it. And so that is it for today. We have City of Bone Clarissa by Clarissa Clare. I would definitely recommend this book to anybody who likes a lot of action and romance. And I do know this book has some mixed reviews. Some people either hate it or they love it. I am one of those people who love it because, I mean, it's a different world. It's got some paranormal activity, paranormal romance to it. It really caught my attention, and I was definitely swooped into it. Well, thank you very much for listening.